What are we talking about today?
Wait, before we start, did you press record?
I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna take the risk.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Today,
We're talking about phones.
in schools.
As if it was an apocalypse at school.
Like you're 13, all your friends have a phone, so you want a phone.
Who do you think is the problem here? Do you think it's the parents?
That's in
think
the scenario
it's
where
the
they put
children,
phone
it's the
far away on the
education.
teacher's desk, the students would actually perform better.
And that really helped me a lot to not be distracted, you know?
There's no free play here. Like everybody's just sitting around using their phone.
And I saw the videos, you know, of this documentary. They were like interacting more. They were playing board
Don't want
games
to
they
give them a
never played
phone
before.
because you feel like it's gonna have a negative impact on them. So, did you grow up with phones in schools, in your school, when you were a child?
I think when I was a child, it was kind of the big wave of technology. So there were like a lot of, it was like the beginning of smartphones.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really kind of late, coming late of in my primary school. So I grew up knowing there were smartphones, or I grew up knowing there were phones first. And I actually never owned a phone during my primary school. The first phone I owned was when I was 12, 13, something like that.
Okay, I think, but it's still...
pretty. No, but the phone I owned, it was this.
Okay, I see. It
Motorola,
was not
you
a
know?
smartphone. Okay,
No,
yeah.
it was a dumb phone.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, when did you get your first smartphone?
My first smartphone, I think when I was 15, 16, something like that. I would say so,
Okay,
yeah.
I think I actually got mine a bit earlier. I think
bit earlier, yeah.
Actually, I think around 13.
Yeah, but you're younger than me, so.
I guess so. But so when you were 16, you got your first smartphone, which means I guess you were still in school at 16.
Yeah.
But you were pretty old by then.
No, but also the good thing is that, I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but I never really took my smartphone with me. I always kept it at home. But the funny thing is that I kept it because I was scared that someone's gonna steal it, you know? Yeah, because, I mean, at my secondary school, it wasn't that safe,
Oh.
you know?
Okay.
It was a public secondary school.
Yeah.
It wasn't that safe. And there were always some people like hanging outside the school waiting to, you know, for the hold up and all of it. So it's a good thing. When you grow up in like these places, it was like more by constraint, but also I wouldn't say it was maybe by a choice, you know. I mean, I never had this idea of using my phone during classes, you know. It was for me such a big risk.
Yeah. For me, I think it's not similar in the sense that I didn't bring my phone to school because it was unsafe. But I think I was just in a generation where phones in schools were still definitely forbidden.
Really?
Like just, by default. Like you couldn't have them in class, and if they caught you like in recess or something, then...
Okay.
So you couldn't really use your phone in school. So in that sense, I'm also part of the generation that didn't really have phones in school, like just towards the very end.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I had my phone when I was 13, and so I'm already like in the generation that's from very early on used the smartphone a lot. Also social media and all that stuff. So I saw that part of it where like all your social circles, they form around social media and like you watching other people's Instagram stories and you looking at their posts. And so I was full on in that.
Really? There were people posting, for example, stories when you were at school, for example.
At school?
No.
Maybe when I was older, because then the whole stories and Instagram thing was even more
more
just common.
Yeah.
But definitely not when I was young. But like looking at the photos that other people posted on Instagram, that was definitely a thing. And like sort of comparing yourself was also a big deal, right?
But that thing, I would say it's more related to the use of phone at home. That is because you said you cannot use it at school.
Yeah, definitely.
But no,
you go ahead.
Okay, but a very interesting thing I found out: pupils use 1 to 1 hour and a half phones at school. What's your take on that?
1 to 1.5 hours.
Yeah,
that's during class or just generally in school, I assume.
Generally in school.
I mean, that's a lot. How long is the average school day? Like 6 to 8 hours, I guess. You arrive at 8 and you...
Yeah, if you include the lunch break.
If you're younger, then I guess you leave at 1 or 2. So it's like a 6-hour day. And 1 to 2 hours of that day you spend on your phone. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
When I was in school, like you would just play and talk with your friends, right?
Exactly. No, for example, I've heard like that. I've read yesterday a documentary of a school in Germany, north of Germany, and they were informing students that they're gonna ban phones, or at least let's say restricted. I mean, still in Germany there isn't like a rule that is being implemented.
Public law,
no, not yet.
It's like on a school to school basis.
Yeah. So many students were actually surprised by this because they had like a very negative expectation of this rule, and they found out they were, and I saw the videos, of this documentary. They were like interacting more. They were playing board games they never played before.
That's interesting.
And that is. I think this is something that this generation is missing, and I hope the next generation is not going to have the same problem. Is that they don't know this the power of the social interaction they can have with each other, and it had like an increased on the social interaction. They were less distracted. I mean, I don't know if you heard also, like now in the UK, just I think yesterday, there was this secretary, Bridget Phillipson, from the education secretary, and she said that it shouldn't be appropriate for phones to be used even as calculators or for research during lessons.
It's kind of missing the mark, I feel like, because if there's... I mean, okay, we still haven't talked about if there is a problem, but I think we probably can agree after the research that there is a problem.
You think there is a problem?
I think there is a problem. Well, just about the point of the British...
The education secretary.
Education secretary.
Yeah.
I think children using their phones for calculating at science purposes is not the problem, right? It's like kind of missing the mark.
But that's the point. If you use it for calculating, what prevents you from switching to social media?
Yeah, I mean, okay, fair enough. I get that. Yeah.
What prevents you from getting a notification about the streaming or Twitch or anything?
But what I found interesting, because you said that the students in northern Germany that got the phone ban at schools, that they thought it's going to be negative, and then they found out once they were in the ban that it wasn't that negative. And it kind of fits with something that I found out. I guess there was a quantitative study where they looked at what the biggest impact or like what has the biggest effect when you ban phones in schools. When you ban phones in schools, it has a massive impact on your social well-being. Because like most schools, they ban it because they think it's going to improve the academic success of their students, the performance, right? But actually the social well-being part is the bigger lever that you have.
What again? Sorry?
It's the bigger lever that you have. Like you can...
Do you mean the social well-being, right?
The social well-being, exactly. Because, I mean, I think it's pretty common knowledge. There's a lot of cyberbullying in schools nowadays.
That's what I wanted to say. They found
I will not take it from you.
No.
But
that is good.
But it's just like the cyberbullying.
Yeah.
You have less social interactions because more of the social interactions are online.
Yeah.
Right. Children play less. There's like less physical activity, and all of that contributes to, in the end, students being less
engaged. Right? Also, they are less engaged in doing, like, I saw a video that's like really was as if it was an apocalypse at school. I just saw empty game board, like game areas, for example, ping pong. They were all empty. Ping pong tables. The library was empty. The place where they play board games was empty, and that really was kind of. I really didn't feel comfortable seeing that.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna be honest with you. During my time at school, I didn't have that facility. You know, if they gave us in my school this facility, we would have like played to the very last with my friends. You know, for us, we were just, I don't know, we just meet. I mean, I play tennis in a club, and that was my only way of exteriorizing this energy. You know. At my school, I didn't have that opportunity. You know, we didn't have those facilities.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a very poor country, but we didn't have these stuffs. You know, we didn't have like a football pitch.
Yeah, I remember because we had a lot of these places. We had a table tennis, like a couple of table tennis tables, and I remember there was a time, I think for like 2 or 3 years, it was a long time, where every morning we would come earlier to school for like half an hour, play table tennis for half an hour, and every lunch break that we had, we would run out of the classroom, so that we would be the first at the table tennis tables, so we would get one, right? Yeah. It was like, this was a daily activity for us, and it was very valuable. I feel like we all bonded over this, and I mean, you play table tennis, you get competitive. That's also where you start learning how to like handle your emotions, right? If you lose and all that kind of stuff. It was very valuable, I feel like. Yeah. And you saying that these kind of amenities are now empty is sad.
It's empty.
Right?
Yeah, it's empty.
It's really sad.
You see some. I saw some videos of some German schools at the UK. I mean, at the UK, like the numbers are like terrifying. By the way, so. Let's play a game. How much would you say children between 1 year old and 8, how many of them own a phone?
Ooh.
Yeah.
1 and 8.
Yeah, 1 and 8. I mean 0 and 8. That's stupid. I'm not going to say that.
I'm gonna say 20.
20%?
20%.
Ooh. So, the data I found about the UK, younger children between 0 and 8, that's the range. I don't know what the meaning of 0, but anyway, 51% have their own device.
51%. That's a lot.
51%. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Preteens, around 11. How much do you think they have a mobile device?
Okay, so the baseline is 51. I will say it increases to 65.
No, it's between 90 and 91%.
90 to 91? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Teens, between 13 and 17. Oh, what's your take on that? Okay, sorry.
That it's 19? 90%? I mean, that's in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Jesus. I mean, when I think back about when I got my first phone, I think I was actually one of the first ones, right? At my age.
Okay.
And I think I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like in the top 1% of, and I was 13. And now, I don't know, 10 years later.
You were the famous one.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And now,
the first prototype.
10 years later,
that is crazy, right?
It's like basically every child 2 years younger than me back then has a phone. It feels crazy.
Yeah. So now teens between 13 and 17. We're still talking about the UK, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How much?
I mean, at that point, it's like 99.
I mean, it's between 95 and 97.
Okay, yeah, I mean, probably some. Okay.
So, what do you think? Who do you think is the problem here? Do you think it's the parents? Do you think is the children? Is the education?
I think it's a whole society.
Yeah.
Because you cannot blame children. I think that's pretty clear because to them, like, they're not the ones in charge here, right? So no. Let's not blame children. I think you can also not really blame the parents because for them it's also a kind of peer pressure. Yeah. Right? Because their child comes home from school. It's like, Mommy, everybody has a phone. I also want a phone. And then, at some point you're just going to give in because you're also socially isolating your child if you don't give them a phone because all the other children are on social media, for example.
Yeah.
Like, it's very difficult. You don't want to socially isolate your child. You maybe don't want to give them a phone because you feel like it's going to have a negative impact on them. But at some point you're going to crumble because the child wants one, their whole social circle has phones, you're just going to crumble. And then I think blaming schools is also difficult because what are they going to do about it? They only have the children for like a third of the day and it's not their job. I think it's just we all as a society collectively, we would need to work together on it.
Mm-hmm. But how can you work on that? What is for you the solution? I mean, let's say you said like you cannot blame the parents. Let's say you're now a father and your son comes to you and he says, I need a phone. Everyone has a phone. What would you do?
I don't know. Man, it's so difficult. Like, I think banning phones at schools.
Yeah, you need.
Oh yeah, please. Yeah. You get this.
Yeah.
Banning phones at schools is a good first step, I think, because there are so many studies that prove that there's some positive effect of it.
Yeah.
Especially the social well-being, for example. But we can talk about this more later. Okay. I think that's a good first step. I think the banning of social media for very young people is also something good. It's my personal opinion because I feel like social media is a very toxic place, and if you're not old enough for it,
that's definitely a topic.
It's a huge topic.
It's a huge topic. I mean, we don't want to extend this episode to 3 hours, I guess.
Exactly. But we're gonna talk about this now. But this is also a good next step, I guess. Mm-hmm. I guess if you do these things, you already take away some incentive for children to even want a phone. Because right now the social isolation is a big argument, right?
Yeah.
All your friends have a phone, like you're 13, all your friends have a phone.
Yeah.
So you want a phone because everybody's on social media and they don't want to play in the afternoon. They want to hang out on Instagram or like share stories or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be excluded from that. If you cannot access social media and nobody else of you, like no of your peers can do it either, that takes out some incentive, I think. If you don't use it at school, you're also gonna like socialize more, make more friends and all that stuff.
When you owned a phone,
yeah,
back in the days when you were 13, did you have the feeling that it was really hard for you not to use your phone during school? Did you really feel the need to use your phone? Were there some days that you really needed a phone that could have saved you? Let's say so.
That could have saved me?
Yeah, it was an emergency, let's say.
No, I don't really think I had that.
Because this is one of the causes that people, or the experts, that they would say, what if happened if I don't know, if a meteorite is coming and just like right to me, They just invent so many crazy scenarios and they're just looking for excuses. But for example, okay, now I can say this is a valid argument, let's say, a student who has diabetes and he needs his injection, and I don't know, he needs his parent for that, or like he misused his medicament, and that is an emergency case.
I guess in these special cases there would also be other solutions though.
Okay.
Right. There's also dumb phones, like the one you had.
Oh yeah, I will never forget my dumb phones.
So I guess that works. I kind of feel like the emergency thing is kind of a way out for people to just like not deal with it, because they're like, yeah, of course they're getting a phone. Like,
okay,
they need it for emergencies, right? But how long, like, students have phones. They started having phones like 15 years ago. And the whole time before that, it was not an issue with like constant emergencies and you not being able to reach out to your child.
Because we adapted to that. Maybe we were just forced to adapt to that situation, and I think that should be the case also now. So I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
So owning a phone didn't really affect you, you would say?
No, but I also didn't really have the FOMO that comes with a phone nowadays, I think. Okay. Because nowadays a phone is like a constant, it gives you like constant pressure to like you checking it out in case you would miss anything. Actually, that's I read an interesting study, it perfectly fits in here. Okay. Because they did a study where they had students perform a test.
Yeah.
In one scenario, they would put the phone on the desk, the student's phone.
Yeah.
One scenario, they would put it in the student's bag.
Yeah.
And in one scenario, they would put the phone on the teacher's desk, like far away.
Okay.
What they noticed is that in the scenario where they put the phone far away on the teacher's desk, the students would actually perform better. Even though they weren't using their phones. It's just the physical presence or the physical closeness of the phone.
It's like the kryptonite for Superman. Far away you put it.
But that's kind of it though.
That is crazy.
Because and that's what I meant with the FOMO. Because if you have access to your phone, then your brain will automatically think about it. And it's like, I could check it out. And it takes resources away from your brain to constantly inhibit you from that urge to pick it up and check it out, right?
You know, it's okay. Did you finish the
yes
thing?
Yes.
Okay, so that I don't interrupt you. It really reminds me of this finding that I had personally when I work on my PC and I have my phone next to me and I got that notification. I don't have that sound. It always vibrates. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna put it behind me. It still vibrate, you know. And I'm still conscious that it's still there somehow. It's crazy, but like every time I turned my phone off and there was no sound coming from it, I completely forget about it, you know? I forgot that it even existed there. And that really helped me a lot to not be distracted, you know? Because if you got a notification, there is this urge of, okay,
what could it be?
What could it be, you know? Yeah. And suddenly you start saying, yeah, but what if it's an email? You know, what if it's something super important, you know? Yeah. And at the end, it's just a friend that just sent you a meme, man. I mean, that is stupid. But also something also very interesting, when I was very lazy and I didn't want to put the phone there, sometimes when I put the phone behind the PC, you know, so this is my PC, and I just put the phone here, I completely also forget about it. I don't see it anymore.
Actually, I think I have a similar experience now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Because half a year ago, I got a new coat. I'm getting there, trust me. I got a new coat.
Okay.
For winter. And this coat is like very long, so I don't put my phone in my pocket of my pants. I put it in the coat pocket.
Okay.
So whenever I get home, I take the phone out of the coat pocket, put it on like some cabinet that I have to take off the coat. And a lot of the times I forget that I put my phone on the cabinet because I'm so used to having it in my pocket of my pants.
Okay. That is straight.
Ever since, I'm getting there. And ever since I started doing that, it happened so often to me that I didn't look at my phone for like 1 or 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even there. It was like in a completely different place. I didn't even know I put it there, right? I forgot. But since I forgot, I never got reminded that I could use my phone. And since I didn't get the reminder that I could use my phone, I also didn't. And I didn't look for it.
You just, that reminds me of the first episode of The Habits. You just made it inaccessible.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I just made it inaccessible. I think they're really related.
Yeah.
The thing with the phone and like just when you want to get used to something or you want to like reduce your screening time. I really like that notification of screening time. Man, I got so pissed off when it sent me this notification. Your screening time was 7 hours. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit I am, you know?
I was so happy about it when I started reducing my phone use because I got rid of Instagram and like just started using it less. And then every week this notification, it would go down a little. I was so happy during that time. And then at some point it started going up again. And I was like, oh,
in your face, man, Instagram, I'm not using you anymore.
Yeah, but then it started going up again. And I was like, okay, I get it.
Okay.
Gotta stop it. Yeah, so one last interesting thing, but I think I kind of talked about this a little bit. What I found out is the effects of free play. And this is, like how important free play is to children and how the amount of phone use nowadays takes away from free play. And the free is important. Mm-hmm. So when I say free play, this means there's no rules set by any adult. The children can make their own rules. They play and there's no guiding rules. That's free play. And that's where like the most learning happens, at least from what I've read. Because children, they learn a lot about socializing, emotional intelligence, like all that kind of stuff. Now, if you have your lunch break in school and you have your phone with you, it's very easy to start using your phone in during lunchtime, right? And everybody does it. So there's no free play here. Like everybody's just sitting around using their phone. Yeah. They've done studies where they banned phones at schools, and especially during recess and like lunch break, they noticed that students started playing again, like physically playing too, not just like sitting around and playing together. It's like physically doing activities again. And it had so many positive implications, right? The academic part. Yeah. But like I said earlier, the social well-being and the felt social isolation of the children improved massively.
It also like feels good. I mean, when you have this, if you put yourself like as a pupil, as a student, you know, just, I don't know, man, just going to a place just to use your phone, having no interaction with no one, you can learn like a new game, a new paper game that you never learned before, that you never heard of it before. Yeah. You can hear your friend's anecdote of his, I don't know, guitar lesson he had. You know, this is so important. You know, that's why I think it worked out so well for the countries that implemented this. You know, I mean, if you think of what I found out, like for example, Chile, they have now like a law for banning smartphones during class, and that had like a big impact in their primary schools when it comes to academic performance and everything. And for example, France, since 2018, they ban at primary and lower secondary schools, and I've heard that like starting from the 1st September. They will also ban like in all schools. And that is something that they found out there is an urge. You know, there is this now people have this anxiety of interacting with each other. Can you imagine that?
And I think, I mean, I'm kind of happy that finally people are noticing. And what I said earlier, that the whole society as one needs to work on this. What you just told me, it kind of gives me hope. Like, I guess there is a societal step in the right direction, but it's not everywhere. It's not everywhere, yeah.
I mean, it's mostly in OECD countries. It stands for Organizational Economic and Cooperation for Development. Mm-hmm. There are some countries all around the world that are part of this organization, which is like I said, for economic and cooperation development. And for example, we have like, I don't know, France, mostly European countries, and also US, Canada, also US is having like a massive and an immediate approach to banning phones. You know, most of the, like, I think there are like around 33 states, or I don't know, 30 states in the United States already ban phones during school. For example, Finland, all mobile use during class is restricted, for example, and unless the teacher approve it. Also Netherlands.
And does it say anything about implications?
What?
Does it say anything about implications? Is it a good...
I mean...
Is it good in any case?
If you see the data, I mean, for example, Netherlands.
Yeah.
Okay. Netherlands, they have 317 schools surveyed after a national wide smartphone ban. So they reported 75% improved student concentration. 66% observed better social atmosphere. 33% saw improved academic performance.
Those are crazy numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it's gonna have an impact, but that's a huge impact.
Yeah. Australia, the same. Improved learning, 81%. Enhanced social skills, 86%.
86.
Reduced class distraction, 87%. So it makes sense. It makes sense that all these countries are seeing the problem that many students are having now, because it's the called brain drain, you know? Do you know what it means? Brain drain?
Yeah.
When it affects cognitive and everything.
Exactly.
That you have like a problem of attention, and actually all your attention should be to focus during class. I mean, I had problem focusing during class, but I wasn't distracted by phone. I was distracting by, I don't know,
friends,
some geometrical forms I was seeing that weren't superposed, you know, and I was saying, oh fuck, why it's not a triangle there? That is so stupid. But I loved it. I loved that time. I really loved that time. Like, and we were like playing, I don't know, there was this game that you take a letter and you have like, and who finishes the first with one letter. I mean, these, like, for example, these are so fun games that you learn so much. During my time at school, whenever we were bored, I don't advise pupils to do that, by the way. Focus on what the teacher says.
Don't get bored.
Yeah, don't get bored. There was this game. It's called Geiger. We call it Geiger. Okay, this is the translation, I would say. But the game was called Bint Walad. Bint is like in Arabic, it's called like female, the woman, and Walad is the guy. So you say, what the fuck is that? So you choose a letter. Yeah, we choose a letter. During that time, we choose a letter. We have a paper, and we do columns. For example, work, plant, dish, animal, object. What do you say? Work. I mean, any profession that we do, and one of us choose a letter, and the first one to fill with that letter every work or profession, plant, name of a guy and name of a girl. Also, we had column for that. Finishes, say, hey, I finished, and then we compare how many points we have. That was a fun game. Because
actually, I
do you know that
this game? Yeah, it has a completely different name. But...
Okay, sorry. It was, I think in Germany, what do you call it?
It's like Stadt, Land, Fluss. So you call it like city.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
city, country.
That's a fun game because I learned so many stuff with that game. Even when I was bored, I was still doing creative stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
So now it's like you get bored, they just play mobile games. That's a big problem, you know?
Yeah. That got deep. But
Yeah.
good stuff. Should I press record now?